Welcome to the Child Development Service and the Developing Language in the Preschool Years Parent Information Workshop. My name is Jessica and I am a speech pathologist. You have been linked with some of the handouts, including the ones that contain slides to refer to at home and share with others who care for your child. We recommend that you have either this handout or some paper available to make some notes on. At some points during the workshop, we will give you the opportunity to note down any ideas that you might like to try. Today we are going to talk about the Child Development Service, about the importance of your relationship with your child in their learning, and about the benefits of spending time with your child to help them learn language. We will look at how you can help your child develop understanding and talking skills throughout the day and while playing and sharing books together. You are here today because you recognise that your child needs more support in developing speech and language skills. Before we start talking about some strategies that you can use at home to support your child's language development, I would like you to think about what it is about your child's communication that you would like to see change. What is it that you want for your child? Please write these down on your goal sheet. If you haven't managed to print this out, please write the goal down on a piece of paper. There is space on the sheet to write 2 goals if you would like, but 1 is fine. At the end of the session, you will have some ideas for things that you can do to help achieve your goals, and we will encourage you to take some time to write them down. As we go through the strategies, you may find it useful to highlight or note down any things that you would like to try with your child. We know that children learn best when supported in their everyday natural learning environments, and that you play the most important role in your child's life. We will work closely with you to help you achieve the goals that you have for your child's development. We have a team of clinicians who work in different areas of child development. We have speech pathologists, occupational therapists, physiotherapists, social workers, clinical psychologists, paediatricians, therapy assistants, audiologists, and nurses. Depending on your child's needs, you may see one or more of our team members. Your child may be growing up in a house with 2 or more languages. It is now a very common trend for children in Australia to grow up learning more than 1 language. Research tells us that it is very important that you continue to use your preferred form of communication when interacting with your child. A strong foundation in your preferred language or languages will help your child learn English at school. Your child needs many opportunities to engage with you in language-based activities such as talking, singing, pretending, and sharing books. To make this happen, you need to feel comfortable and confident. So use whatever language feels best. This might be your home language, or English, or a mix of both. Mixing languages is okay. Parents often ask us if learning 2 languages causes developmental language disorder. The answer is no. The research shows that bilingualism does not cause language disorder or language delay. The reason why your child is currently experiencing difficulties with language is not a result of learning 2 languages. Parents also want to know about whether their child will be able to use 2 languages as an adult. The answer is yes. The research shows that children with language disorders can become bilingual adults. This is possible if both languages are maintained at home and at school. Keep using your preferred language or home language, as it will be important for your child to participate and feel connected to their family, culture, and community. As you know, spending time together with you is really important for your child's development. Parents are really busy, but it is surprising how many opportunities there are to spend time together talking throughout the day. Take a few seconds to think of all the occasions in your day that you spend time with your child, doing something you enjoy together. Some parents have said that everyday routines, such as preparing meals, choosing what to wear, and having a bath, are times that they enjoy together. Other parents have noted activities such as going to the park, playing outside, sharing a book together, or going for a walk. These are all activities that you may already be doing and are great opportunities to build your child's language skills. When you spend time enjoying doing things and talking with your child, you have the opportunity to tune in to your child and notice what your child is doing and what your child is interested in, how your child communicates, and how your child is feeling about the situation. Tuning into your child and noticing all these things will help you to work out how to respond best. You often have to tune in and respond to your child's feelings. Children this age often have big feelings, which is sometimes difficult to manage. Your children are learning how to communicate about their feelings, but when they can't find the words that they need, they may become overwhelmed with their feelings and act out. Even adults often find it hard to speak when they are very excited or upset. We know that at these times, it is helpful to notice how your child is feeling and let them know you understand by naming the feeling and saying why your child might be feeling that way. This will help your child to calm down and manage the emotion. And when they are calm, you can help your child solve the problem so that they can successfully return to what they were doing and get on with learning. So if your child falls over and is crying, we know it helps your child to calm down if you notice they are hurt or sad and to talk about it. You could say, "Oh, you're feeling sad. You have hurt your knee." And when your child is calmer, you could make a suggestion about what they could do, such as, "You've hurt your knee. I wonder if we could get a Band-Aid." Once they feel better, they will return to what they are doing. When you take the time to help your child recognise and understand their own feelings, they begin to recognise how others are feeling, and this is an important part of their social and emotional development. It allows them to get on better with others. Learning to use speech and language is very complex. There are some parts that are harder to notice, like the parts of the iceberg under the water. And there are some parts that are easier to notice, like the parts of the iceberg that are above the water. When we tune in, we often notice errors children make with their speech sound production and their grammar, the way that they put words together and make sentences. It is appropriate for children this age to still be learning their speech sounds, and there can be a big variation among children. Some errors you might hear include sop instead of shop, nake instead of snake, and wabbit instead of rabbit. You will probably notice your child making quite a few grammatical mistakes because they are still developing their language skills. You may hear things like, "I got it" instead of "I got it," or "him jump" instead of "he is jumping." Learning speech and grammar is a developmental process, and it takes up to age 7 to get it right. To help children when they say things incorrectly, we use an idea called recasting, which means saying it back the right way. We want them to hear the word only pronounced correctly, so when you recast, say the word or sentence back correctly and then repeat it. So if your child says, "That's a nake," you could say, "Yes, it's a snake. It's a long snake." You will also have noticed that I slowed down and emphasised the word snake. I also made sure that my child heard the word pronounced correctly twice. It is best not to make your child say the word or sentence the correct way. Once they are able to, they will. In the meantime, use recasting often. Have a think about your child now and try to recall something that your child might say that doesn't sound quite right. If this is something that your child does often, recasting is a great way to help your child learn the correct speech and grammar. As we said before, speech sounds and grammar are areas that we often notice about children's communication. but they are the tip of the iceberg, and the bigger and most important parts of language are often the more difficult to put your finger on. They are the bit that is under the water. We are going to focus on some of these areas over the rest of the workshop. Talking together successfully happens when you and your child are focused on the same thing. When you have tuned into your child and notice what they are paying attention to. As we have already mentioned, during the day there are lots of opportunities to comment on what your child is doing or what your child is interested in. Opportunities for your child to hear and learn the words that go with these situations. This might mean that we talk about what has happened or what your child might be thinking or feeling. Imagine that your child accidentally spills a drink. Think about how your child might react to this. They may be looking at the drink with a surprised face, or they might have made a comment such as, "Oh no," or "Oops." What could you say so that your child is hearing and learning the words to describe the situation? You could talk about what has happened, or what your child might be thinking or feeling. You may say something about what has happened. "Oh no, you knocked over the water." You might talk about how your child might be feeling. "Oh no, you were cross because you spilt your drink." Then you could help your child figure out what to do next. You could say, "I wonder what we could do now," or "Let's get the mop and clean up the water." We do not generally talk about what we are looking at or doing when we are talking to adults, but it is very helpful for children when you talk about what they are seeing or what you are doing together. For example, you may say something like, "I'm pouring the water into the cup so I can have a drink." Thinking out loud about why you are doing things can help your child learn the words to explain situations. For example, if you are holding carefully onto the water jug, you might say, "I'm being very careful because the jug is really heavy and I don't want to spill it." We know that when you talk to your child in this way, they will want to join in. This taking turns in talking leads to conversations. You may have to wait for your child to have their turn, as sometimes it takes a little while for them to organise what they want to say. So now that you have been talking about what you and your child are doing together, about what your child is interested in, you have waited and your child says something. How do you respond to them in a way that will help them learn more language? We know that it is more helpful to make comments than to ask too many questions. Asking too many questions can stop a child from wanting to join in because it feels like they are being interrogated. For example, I could ask you lots of questions about this book. I could say, "What colour is the water? What's the girl doing? What's that? Who's that there?" But you would not really enjoy talking to me. We are going to watch a short video of a dad and his little boy Matthew making a sandwich together. You will notice how Dad waits while Matthew has a turn to spread the Vegemite on the bread and waits for him to talk. Notice how the dad makes comments about what Matthew is doing.
There is more butter on mine. What's this called?
Vegemite.
You put some Vegemite. You use your knife. Good boy. That's a big dollop of Vegemite, isn't it? Hold the plate for you. That's it. It's in a bit of a lump, but if you spread it around near the edges, keep spreading. That's it. Into the corner. Well done. Straight to the corner. And the other corner. Now the other corner. What about this corner over here? What about this one? Well done. Excellent.
Now we lick it off, do we?
You could lick it off if you want, but it's a bit salty. You have a try. Is that too salty?
The best way to help your child's vocabulary to grow is to talk to your child a lot so they hear lots of different types of words. Naming words, describing words, position words and action words are all different types of words. Matthew's dad used some new vocabulary while they were making the sandwich. He used the words spread and corners and match these to what Matthew was doing. Let's talk about naming words. We know that children need a way of organising these words in their mind so they can find them when they want to say them. Imagine you have a filing cabinet and you just throw all your bills in without sorting them. It will be really difficult and take a lot of time to find September's electricity bill. If the bills were organised into folders for electricity bills, water bills, phone bills, it would be easier and quicker to find. In the same way, children need to organise their vocabulary. For example, they need a folder for animal names, a folder for toys, folders for doing words and describing words. When children have a well-organised vocabulary, they can find the words when they need them. We can help develop the filing skill by naming and sorting things. Let's see how this would work at home when putting away the shopping that we have just brought home. As you take shopping items out of your bag, talk about their names and where they belong. The soap and the toothbrush belong in the bathroom. This is where we wash our body and wash our teeth. The butter and the cucumber belong in the fridge so they can keep cold and fresh. The banana and apple belong in the fruit bowl because they are both fruit. The spaghetti belongs in the cupboard. You can sort all sorts of things during your routines at home. You can put away toys in separate containers like animals in the animal box, blocks in the block box. You can sort the washing into piles and sort the dishes as you put them away. You can also have fun cutting out pictures from junk mail and sorting them into groups, into things we eat, things we can play with, and things that we use around the home. We know that one of the most important ways of helping children who have language difficulties is to build the number of action words that they understand and use. These words are very important to the meaning of a sentence. Everything we do has an action word that goes with it. Words that name objects are easier to learn than action words because objects can be seen and felt and they stay the same. Action words are harder for children to learn because they are about an action, so they change and they are over quickly. Some action words are easier to see than others. Words like walking are easier to see because they last a little bit longer than words like give. If I want to help my child learn the word give, I'm going to say the word at the exact time that I give them the piece of fruit. Some action words are even harder to learn because we can't see them happening. These are words like want, like, think, and know. You can help by emphasising these words when you are talking to your child. For example, you might say, I like eating yummy apples. You can also think out loud for your child. For example, I'm thinking about what to have for lunch. I think we should have some fruit. Now let's talk about helping with your child's listening. Firstly, if you have any concerns about your child's hearing, it is important to have a hearing test. You can talk to your child health nurse, the doctor, or us to help you to organise your child's hearing to be tested. Next, we know that children hear best in a quiet environment. They can find it difficult to tune out background noise and focus on what you are saying. TV, phones and iPads are distracting when you want your child to listen to you. Try turning them off when you are spending time talking together with your child. Just like every other skill, learning to pay attention and listen takes time. You may feel that your child's hearing and listening skills are okay, but that you still may need to support your child's understanding of what you are saying. Every day, you give your child instructions, ask them questions, and then tell them information. And when you are tuned into your child, you can tell by the way that they respond if they understand. Let's have a look at some of the ways to help your child's understanding of language. Imagine that you are cooking with your child and you want them to put some items back into the fridge. You might say, put the red bottle and the carrots into the fridge. The instruction may be too long for your child to understand, so your child might do nothing, or they might just put the red bottle away. To help your child follow the instruction, you can break the instruction down into smaller parts. You might say, get the red bottle, get the carrots, put them in the fridge. When breaking down instructions, it is important to wait for your child to complete each small instruction before giving the next part of the instruction. Take a moment to think about a time that your child didn't understand an instruction. And then think about how the instruction could have been broken down into smaller parts. We have already talked about the importance of not asking too many questions. There are times when you may ask a question that your child does not know the answer to. Remember, we can help by giving the answers ourselves. For example, you may ask your child where they left their shoes. Your child might point to the shoes or say, there. Rather than asking this question again, you could answer the question for your child. You may say, your shoes are under the bed. Sometimes you may ask a question that you don't know the answer to and to which your child does not respond. Questions that we commonly ask that we don't know the answer to include, what happened? Or what did you do at kindy or daycare today? If your child is having difficulty answering these questions, you can help your child by getting some information about what your child was doing during the day from the adults that were caring for your child. Asking more specific questions such as, what toys did you play with? Or what did you eat for lunch? Or focusing on the now and talking about what your child is doing and feeling in the moment. Children need to understand lots of different types of words. When children don't understand words, we have to show them what words mean. Let's talk about how we can show the meaning of the word spread while making a sandwich. I will stress the word spread as I spread the butter onto the bread, so that my child could see what the word spread means. I will repeat the word as I continue to spread the butter. I'm spreading the butter on the bread. Let's spread the butter on the bread. If I wanted to teach the word corner, I could point to the corner of the bread as I said the word. When children are learning something new, it can be helpful to link the new idea or the word to something they already know. To link the word marmalade to something that your child might already know, you may say, it's a sort of jam. You like jam. This jam is made of oranges. Now we are going to look at how we can use these strategies and some other ideas when sharing books together. Books provide lots of opportunities for children to learn new vocabulary and ideas. Children learn best when books are not just read to them, but shared with them. This means not reading the words, but telling the story from the pictures. It means noticing what your child is interested in and talking about it. It means making connections with your child's own experiences and what is happening in the story. This may result in having a conversation with your child about the book and talking about what the characters are doing and how they may be feeling. Children need a lot of book sharing experiences before they are ready to read themselves. It helps if you and your child are sitting so you can both see the book and each other's faces. You can see what your child is looking at and what your child is interested in. It also allows you to use facial expressions to show your child what the characters are feeling. Using expression in your voice can hook your child in and keep them interested in what you're saying. As we have discussed a couple of times, generally it is more helpful to make comments about what is happening in the story rather than asking questions. One of the ways you can invite your child to say something about the pictures without asking a question is to wonder about what is happening. For example, this parent is setting up chairs. You could say, I wonder how many people are going to come to the party. On this page, they are going shopping. You could say, I wonder what they're going to buy. You and your child can both have a go at answering an I wonder comment, and your child doesn't feel pressure to respond if they don't know what to say. On the Noah's Ark Toy Library website is a list of resources that includes story bags and idea sheets to show you how to use a particular book in different ways. Now we're going to watch a video of parents sharing books with their children. You will see the parents using lots of the strategies we have talked about. Notice how the parent and the child can both see the book. Notice how the parent uses an interesting voice, waits for their child to have a turn, and responds to their child. They may respond by making a comment, talking about feelings, relating the story to their child's life, or by giving explanations.
Taking turns in book sharing is like having a conversation. It's often easier if you don't read the words. Children like to participate. Notice how many different sorts of turns Mimi takes when her mum waits for her.
See the parrot.
Yes, the parrot. Look, the parrot and the cat are friends. Yes.
Sleep.
Oh, the parrot is sleeping.
Sometimes Mimi looks at the picture and thinks
More
about
cats.
it.
Look
At other times, Mimi says something about the picture.
at many cats.
So many cats. Yes, that's right.
Children who are talking may enjoy taking their turn by finishing your sentences. Ethan and his mum enjoy these turns.
And then look,
Teddy bear.
he's found a teddy bear and
Boy.
a little boy. And he's going out into the garden and
Ate the flower.
eating the flowers.
Ethan's mum is showing him how books work. She uses her voice and pauses for Ethan's turn. What happens with taking turns when children start to think more about the story? Jed and his mum share lots of turns. She reads a bit and thinks aloud about the story. She helps Jed to wonder about what's happening. Jed asks questions and talks about his ideas, and Mum listens to him.
And Granddad put the sunscreen on Thomas
Oh,
so that he doesn't get burnt in the sun. And now Thomas is helping.
when is it room?
Oh, I don't know. They have to put the sunscreen on first,
Why?
and let's see what they do. So swish, swash, swoosh, sings Sissy.
I think the room all right there.
They're going to swim all around the island.
Yeah.
It's a long way.
Oh.
Jed and his mum are enjoying making lots of connections, having conversations about what is happening in the book. Ned and his mum take turns talking and thinking about how the characters in their book are feeling. Mum uses her voice to express the bear's emotions.
Oh, is that what the bear's looking like? He looks pretty scared. Or he does. He'll turn back. Oh, yes. It's all right, little bear.
When you talk about the book together, your child can practice putting their thoughts and feelings into signs and words. Will's mum gives him a chance to talk about his ideas when she says, "I wonder," and waits.
Oh, he's getting a bit upset now
How come?
because he's locked inside by himself and his mummy can't get in. She's outside.
And the baby's upset.
Yeah, baby's a bit upset too. I wonder why.
Because she's not going to see her big brother.
Oh, I think she might be missing her big brother. Yes, I think she might too. Ethan misses you when he can't see you, doesn't he? Yes, he's always asking, where's Will? Where's Will?
They are taking turns to talk about something that happens in the book, and in their family too.
These are all the book sharing ideas you saw in the video. Take a moment to think about what you usually do when sharing books with your child, and make a note of some of the things that you might like to try. Your local library is also a great place to enjoy books and get new books to bring home. Now let's have a look at how play helps language development. Play is central to children's learning. It is their work. When children are playing together, they are learning about how to get along with others. It is sometimes difficult for children with language difficulties to develop friendships in big groups. And if this is the case for your child, you can help by organising a play date with your child with one other child. You may still need to help set up the play, stay close and support your child. We talked about the importance of understanding the feelings of others, so don't forget to recognise and name the feelings of your child and their playmate. Your children also learn a lot through playing with you, and you have already thought about some playtimes when you and your child are enjoying spending time together. Now we are going to watch a video of a mum playing with the farm set with her son. Notice how the parent and the child are both focusing on the same thing and are enjoying the game. Notice how the parent responds by listening to the child, responding with comments, using new vocabulary, and waiting for the child to take a turn.
I wonder what she can put in that wheelbarrow.
A baby.
Oh, I hope that's not too dangerous. She has to be very careful because she doesn't want the little baby to fall out.
Who's at a farm?
She's at the farm.
Yeah.
She's at the farm and looking at all the animals. That's what we've done before. We went to her farm and we saw, I think we saw some goats and some sheep.
Cool. Cow. Big
Cows.
cow.
Yeah, that's
A
right.
really big cow.
A very big cow. And some little rabbits in a little hutch.
Yeah.
They were very cute. Looks like they're going off somewhere. I wonder where they're going.
I'm going to your house. Because it's raining. Pick under a tree.
Oh, quick, it's raining. Hurry. I have to hurry inside the house because it's raining. Otherwise I'll get all wet, Lucas. Quick, under cover. Oh no, she fell over.
The mum and the boy were using toys to act out something that happened on the farm. She made time to spend with him. They had somewhere to play, and they had set up the toys to play with. Mum joined in the play, and she used these strategies to help his language development. You could support your child's language development in play by talking about what your child is doing, by adding some ideas of your own, by talking about how the characters are feeling, and by pretending to be different characters. You do not have to have a lot of toys at home when playing together. In fact, you may have noticed that children are often very creative when they are using things that are not toys. If you and your child want to pretend to be a fireman, you could find items around your house to help with this. You might be able to find some boxes, an old bit of rope, and some old clothes that would make great dress-ups. As you find all the pieces to play the game, you are helping your child to set up the game. When children pretend to be someone else like a fireman, they use language and do things that help them feel, act and problem solve like that person. A good imagination can help children when they want to tell stories. Make some notes about any of these ideas that you would like to try with your child. All children, but especially those with language and communication difficulties, benefit and learn mainly from being able to interact with a real person. They do not learn language and communication skills well through watching screen-based media such as TV shows, videos, and apps on their own. We know that screens are now a big part of life. Child development experts recommend minimising daily screen time for children. This is so your child can enjoy other activities that are important for their health, well-being and development, such as getting enough sleep and physical activities such as playing outside. There are a few things that you can do to help develop healthy screen time habits at home. Set limits on screen time and how often your child has access to devices. When you are spending time together with your child, try to put their electronic devices away or on silent and turn off any background noise, including TV and radios. Research tells us that when electronic devices are on, parents and children are likely to spend less time interacting and talking together. When using screen-based media with your child, consider the 3 C's: content, context, and child. Be involved and monitor what content your child is using and viewing. Prioritise high-quality educational content, such as programs with a curriculum or a live presenter. Choose apps that have an interactive component that requires your child to use their mind and not become frustrated or bored. Try and participate and watch screen media with your child. You can talk to your child about what is happening to help them make sense of what they are seeing and learning. Try an app or game first, play it with your child, and then ask them about it afterwards to see what they are learning. Consider if this screen-based activity is right for your individual child, for their age, their skills, their interests, and their abilities. Remember that screen time is not necessary for learning. Everyone is different. Before we start to talk about what you're going to try at home, there is one last thing we want to cover. We highly recommend talking to and working with your child's teacher. If you haven't already done so, it is a good idea to make a meeting time with your teacher. It can be difficult for teachers to concentrate on discussing a particular child at the beginning or end of class, so having a set meeting time can help. Plan what you would like to discuss. As well as talking about what your child is having difficulties with, talk about what your child's strengths are, what they're good at, how they learn best, and what they're really interested in. Let the teacher know you are coming to speech pathology and tell them about some of the things you have been doing at home to support your child. Later on, it is a good idea to give the teacher a copy of any reports, as well as the therapist's contact details. Ask your child's teacher about what you could do at home to help your child's social skills and language development. Helping out and supporting your child's teacher can help you develop a strong partnership in your child's learning journey. During the workshop, we have talked about some of the ways that you can support your child in their language development. We know that children learn best when parents spend time with them during everyday activities, while sharing books and while playing together. We talked about the importance of helping your child to understand and manage their feelings, about tuning in and noticing what your child is interested in and how they are communicating, and about ways to respond to your child so that you can help them with their talking and understanding of language. You have seen that you play a very important role, and what you do at home with your child makes a big difference in their progress. Earlier you wrote down a goal that you're working towards, and before we finish today, you will have time to think about what we have presented and what actions you're going to do to achieve this goal. We would like you to hold on to this goal sheet so that you can talk about it with your clinician at the next appointment. Some families decide to seek private therapy for their child. Your child can still access the Child Development Service if you decide to see a private therapist, and this has no impact on the amount of services we offer your family. In fact, with your permission, we will work together with private speech therapists. We acknowledge that you have probably tried many things to support your child at home and appreciate that you may already be doing some or many of the things that we have suggested today, but we hope that you have some new ideas. We know that parents are very busy and there are lots of demands on time. However, we would like you to spend some time thinking about the actions you are going to take towards achieving the goal that you wrote down earlier. Think about opportunities throughout the day and the week that you can commit to spending more time with your child. If you are finding you don't have much time to spend with your child, we recommend that you make finding time to spend one-on-one with your child your first priority. Think about opportunities throughout the day and the week that you can commit to spending more time with your child. If you are already spending regular time with your child, we want you to think about whether there is anything you would like to change in daily routines, during play, and while sharing books. Look back through your notes and find things you have noted. Which strategies would you like to choose to practice at home? Please take some time to complete your action plan and remember to keep it handy for your reference and when you talk to your clinician. We hope you have found this video useful.